Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar today, which is a part of Simulate User Summit 2023. So the subject of our webinar today is designing steel core form sections in advanced design using North American codes. My name is Farshad Pourshargh. I am the Solution Technical Manager at Greatech for North America. So let's go on with some of our slides first. So to give you an overview of what we will see in this webinar, first of all, we will talk about selecting the localization and the standards to start our project using the new code form design. We will see how to define the material library, new materials for this kind of design, as well new sections. We will talk about modeling, defining the design properties of code form sections. We will cover analysis and design results. And also, I'm going to show you how to check the shape sheet to see and verify the section properties calculated by advanced design. We will see the code checks and how you can get them from the software. And finally, what kind of reports we will see in order to make sure about the results and checks that we are performing on code form structures in advanced design. So the first stage would be, first we need to select our localization. So since here we are talking about code form design based on AISI, which is a code that it can be used both in US and Canada. So first of all, we will select our localization based on your project location. So for both of the localization, either Canada or US, you can go down here in the steelwork and you will find that we have a new entry here, which is called AISI code form design code. So we will select that one, which comes again with S1619 and as well ASC 360 for either US or Canada for hot rolled sections. So you can just drop down this list and you can select the code that you want to use in your project. Very simple. And then we click OK. The new tools that we have added to advanced design here, first of all, is the new material and section libraries. So here you see the new material added to advanced design. So you can simply go to material definition or material library of advanced design. Then we will select the family, which is steel. And then from our drop-down list, you can use the ASTM code form sections or code form material. And here you will see all of basically the material from the library of ASI code form standard that you can select and assign it to your section. And as you see here, I have a small screenshot of a section, which as you see here, I have assigned this material type to that section and as well the new library of sections that you can assign to your element to start modeling it. So to select the sections, we have added new section libraries again for the code form sections. Very simple. You can just go into the library of materials or sections of advanced design. And here you will see a new entry, which is North America code form profiles. And here you can just go on and select the profile shape. And after that, you can access the full library of all of the shapes that you see here. So we covered different shape types for code form sections, and each of those will come with specific profiles, again, coming from the ASI standard code library. And as you see here, we also have a full 3D rendered display for these elements in advanced design. So here I have put some of the examples here just to demonstrate them to you. So one of the important points of code form design is obviously calculating the effective section properties, which in advanced design, it's going to be done automatically. So we will use a specific engine, internal engine, to calculate all of the effective section properties, like moment of inertia, etc., to use them inside advanced design. And here you see all of those values will be displayed as well in advanced design. So you do not need to define any effective criteria or section properties for cold form steel. The other important part is actually in properties of the element. So when you select the element in advanced design, you will have now, if you have defined a steel cold form section with using this cold form material, now we'll have a new entry here in the properties of the element. So it's called cold form design options. And here is the place that you can basically modify all of the related properties of that element and their situation inside the structure. So you can, as you see here, we have different options, like you can define overlapping, you can define overhang, etc. Situation of the supports, either exterior, interior, so you can always change those. And advanced design will use these properties in code check and design of that specific code form element. So in terms of code checks and results, as you see here, we basically do all of the required checks for cold form sections. So we do tension, compression, bending in two directions, shear, crippling, as well all of the combined moment and shear equations that they are required in the code. And as you see here, all of them also come with the class name that advanced design is using to do that specific code check. All of the results as hot rolled sections, also for cold form sections, can be displayed also graphically, as you see here, based on the color map and design percentage. And here I have put like some examples here from different cold form sections, which is a simple beam with a rigid supports at two ends. So if you want to get in more results for cold form sections, as you know, in advanced design, we have two ways of seeing those. The first one is what we call the shape sheet. You can go here, and in the cross-section strengths, you can see, first of all, the maximum workload ratio of that specific element. And to go into more detail, here in the shape sheet, you can see all of the resistances and applied internal forces to that section. And advanced design will calculate them based on the formulas that you see here and compare them to the applied or internal forces in that specific element. So you can get an idea of if this element is failing, what's the reason, and it's failing for which type of internal force and resistance. So this is for the shape sheet. As well here, we also have the full report. So if you want to go more into detail as a report in a report shape, that can be exported to either Excel or Word format, etc. You can also use our reports, and as you see here, we have even more details of the parameters and values that we are using to calculate the resistances for code check and design. So just to give you an idea here, I'm going to also do a short live demo of this tool in advanced design. So let's go in advanced design. Okay, I have opened Advanced Design 2024. So as you see here, so as I mentioned earlier, the first thing that you need to do to basically use the new code is going to be going to project configuration. So here we can select our localization. So either if we use United States or Canada, you can just switch there. You can switch to your language, either to French or English. And here in Steelwork, as you know, we have all of the codes, even passcodes here. But the ASI S100 is accessible from here. Basically, you can select the code, and the Steelwork will be done based on the ASI code for cold form sections from here. So I can use S1619 ASI code and click OK. So I already have created a project here, so I can simply open that just to show you how this works. So basically, I have like 6 types of sections here, and I have applied some supports on those. So if I click on, let's say, properties of this member, so as you know, in advanced design, the material will be defined here, and as well the sections is going to be here. So to just show you the libraries, the new libraries that we have, you can simply click here, go to the libraries, and here in our library section, you see that I have steel and ASTM cold form. So obviously, we have also other material types, but for cold form section, we will use steel. And as well in the subcategories, again, in between all of the codes that we have here, we will use ASTM cold form. And advanced design basically will bring up all of the possible cold form material that we have. And these material properties and definitions and even namings are all coming from the ASI code and standard. So basically, you select your material, import it inside the project here, and you will be good to go. So of course, if you want to also check the mechanical properties of that specific material, you can click here and you can check the properties. So this was for the material, and for the sections, same scenario. So I can go to the sections libraries from here, and if I scroll down here, we will see that there's a new entry here. So North America cold form profiles, and here basically we have all of the types, standard types of cold form sections, again coming from standard libraries here, there, and again for each section type, I can just, for example, go to Z section with leaps, and here you have the section names, again, based on the standard libraries, and as well the required parameters for this specific section. And as I mentioned earlier, the direct properties will come from the table. But the rest of them, again, for cold form sections, we need to calculate more properties to verify and code check them. Let's say effective area and effective widths. Those ones will be calculated automatically using the internal engine of advanced design. So as soon as you select your section, you can just click the section, click OK, and then that section basically will be assigned to your project or to your member here. So as well, basically, you will need to define some supports for your members and also some loads, okay? So here I have defined some supports, and as well I have applied some loads if you check them here. So just to show you the interaction checks that we will be doing, let's say in this section. So in this to this Z section, I have applied, like, first of all, it has its own dead weight, and after that I have applied a punctual load out of plane in weak axis bending. I have applied the compression. Also, I have applied a torsion, as you see here. So just to show you how advanced design will perform these checks. As you know, just to perform the design, the second option after defining loads will be creating combinations. Again, here I have used some standard combinations here with coefficients, but you can always add more. And now I will perform my basically analysis and design. So basically, you will create a new one, and directly you can do steel calculation. So advanced design will automatically know that these are cold form sections based on their material and their section. So click OK, and it's going to start the calculation. There you go. If there are some errors in some of the actually warnings in some of the sections, it will be shown here, but that's a warning, so it's not going to block us from calculating our model. And here I can get my basically deformation results from here. As well, you can check for the combinations results from there. If you want to see the internal forces, basically we can go to the members. First of all, we switch to forces and go to members here, and I can see the forces that are being applied here. So as you see here, my top element here, I'm applying minus 70 pound of forces, just to give you an example. And as well, you can check all of the moments in strong axis, as you see here. So basically, we can also make our diagram smaller. So these are going to be like our moment in strong axis, and as well as I mentioned earlier, for the top one, top member, I have applied an out-of-plane force in weak axis bending just to check how software will perform my design for this cold form section. So these are going to be like some simple finite element results. And now to check for design, or basically the code check verifications, we have here steel design. So basically you can check strengths or deflection. In this case, we will check strengths. And the good thing here is you can actually see the work ratio for either of the internal forces. You can check the work ratio for web crippling, especially for cold form sections, or you can check the max work ratio, which is going to be basically the maximum of all of the internal forces that you see here. So we can go directly to max work ratio and click on our post processing, and there you go. So here I can see that like these two ends of my Z cold form section here, it's overstressed. And as well a bit in the center part. So, and the other ones are okay because I have not applied high forces to those. So if I want to go more into detail, basically what I can do is you can select that specific section. So let's say in this case, this section. And first of all, I can check the shape sheet from here. Click there. So it will bring up the name of the section and cross-sectional properties and material properties down there. If we have activated the deflection check, you can have the deflection checks. And finally, cross-section strengths. This is the main part that advanced design will tell you what's actually happening with design of your cold form section. So as I mentioned earlier, for this bottom one, I'm not applying so high forces. So the specific checks that advanced design will do, it's going to be based on the forces that we have in this section. So basically no tension compression, but we have bending. So advanced design is checking for that, and as well shear. And if it's related, it will also do the combined checks for those internal forces. And as you see here, you can see clearly what's the resistance shear, for example, and what is the applied shear. As well, for the other parts, you see the clear formulation here that how advanced design is basically calculating this load ratio. So I can even, for example, because in this case, in the topper one, I have more forces applied, so we can check that one too. So you click there, and we can click here, and there you go here, because I have applied much more forces there. So I have a compression check, bending in strong axis, bending in weak axis, and also I have the required interaction, basically calculations that we need to have to check basically that member. And you see the chapters here that advanced design is checking for this cold form section. So this was like about our shape shift. As well as I mentioned, you can also get the project the properties of that section that advanced design has calculated. And finally, we also provide you with design reports. So I can simply click here on edit detail report, and this is going to give you even more detailed results. You see here, you will see the full formulation, all of the values that advanced design is using to calculate that percentage. So, and you can actually go on and check these values one by one, these parameters one by one, to see how advanced design is calculating your resistance. So it is not a black box. You can always go and check what's happening to the section. So yeah, this was basically a short overview of cold form steel design based on ASI code. So let's go back to our slides. So to conclude this this webinar, I would like to also mention like some of the features that we saw in this webinar that you can use them to perform your cold form design, analysis, and advanced design. So first of all, as you saw, advanced design comes with the ASI code. which can be used in North America for code form structures, and you can select it right at the beginning when you're starting the project. There are materials and section libraries to define those for your elements. We will calculate the effective section properties and verifications in advanced design, covering several required code checks and criteria, as you saw in the demonstration. And finally, you can get detailed design sheets and reports of the results and design reports from advanced design. So thank you very much for your attention today. So if you have any questions, you can always type your questions here in the chat tool, and I can answer your questions. And any other situation, if you have any other questions later on, don't hesitate to contact our support line. Thank you.